for today's event. So let's start the session. I request BVI Founder Sri Narayanrao Tatuskar ji to call her our National President Smt.Jayasree N Tatuskar ji. Request all governors and club presidents to call her yourself. Thank you. I request National President Jayasree Tatuskar Madam call the meeting to order.
Meeting called.
We'll start with Gayatri Mantra, followed by a few seconds of silence for uplifting of Bhavsar Samaj, as well as praying the ultimate supreme to relieve all of us from this deadly pandemic. Lakshmi Priya Bangal, BVI Chennai, to recite Gayatri Mantra for us.
Thank you, Manohar. Gayatri Mantra now. Om Bhur Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhur Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhur Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you. So, respected founder Sri Narayanrao Tatuskar ji, BVI National President, Narayanrao Tatuskar. Today's chief guest and speaker, Sri Naveen Pishe ji, partner P.N.Rao Suits, Bangalore. BVI Foundation Trust Chairman, Sri K.V.Rao ji. BVI Floating Club Chairman, Sri Dr. Sathvik ji. All national presidents, national board, due to committee members, all governors and presidents, and newly formed BVI Youth Club President and board members, and my dear fellow visionaries, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to all of you. Learn as if you die tomorrow, learn as if you would live forever, said Bapuji. Under the guidance of BVI visionaries, BVI focused on bringing successful individuals, leaders, entrepreneurs to this talk to enable people of Bhavsar to inspire, learn, apply, and grow in their career. BVI Floating Club welcomes all of you to the third talk show. Today's subject is Story and Success, Unleashing Original Bhavsar DNA Business. I'm sure you all agree with me. Whenever we hear Bhavsar DNA, the first thing comes to your mind. One of the things is our profession. We are very proud to say our profession is tailor. Myself, my father is tailor too. So what is that we are doing in the tailor and the current career that most of us will, for example, software professional. We take requirement from customer to the product, deliver with highest quality. Are we doing something different? No, our ancestors have been doing this. In fact, this profession has kept the quality and delivery time at its highest standards. And it brings smile in people on every occasion. Today, we are going to learn such a story from a successful entrepreneur and then journey. Without delaying further, I would request Mr. K.V.Rao Sarji, BVI Foundation Chairman, to kick off the meeting. Sir.
Thank you, Manama Bodkeji.
Spotlight those who are speaking.
Yeah, I'm searching actually.
Should I wait?
Go ahead, sir.
We are delighted and honored to have with us today our founder, Sri Narayanrao Tatuskar, our National President, Smt.Jayasree N our National Secretary, Satish Yadav, Foundation Secretary, Mr. Srinivas Davle, and today's guest speaker, Mr. Naveen Pishe, and also all the governors of different areas, the presidents, and the newly formed subgroup presidents who are all very eager and participating in most of our BVI subgroups, which have been recently launched, like the Floating Club, the Youth Club, the Nitya Bhakti Sadhan, Jeevan Sati, etc. These are all
Rauji, I'm sorry
outcome.
to interrupt. Your video is off. You switch on your video.
Then I'll start from the beginning, or you heard what I said?
We heard
voice-
you, but we didn't see you.
Okay, you can see me now. Okay. Am I visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm no longer a ghost. Okay. Okay. Greeting and namaste to all participants in this talk show titled Unleashing Original Bhausa DNA Business. By our own gents fashion magnate, Mr. Naveen Pishe, who is building and carrying forward a generation's old family legacy. The firm P.N.Rao is a perfect example what we call in professional word a growth DNA model for family businesses made to measure, or what is generally called custom-made garments. When a couple of days ago, the president of the BVI Floating Club, Dr. Sathvik, asked me to present an opening remarks for this talk show. I spontaneously said yes, but later I realized, what should I say?
Anandra Rao, Mr. Rao. K.V.Rao.
M&A. I said to myself, I should rely on and speak on my authority of educational maturity, on my authority of knowledge gained, and my authority of experience. As all of you know, and as said by Mr. Manohar, tailoring is inherited in the Bhausar DNA. It is so in my family. And almost everyone present on this Zoom platform have their family members where they were past generations, even present generations, they may be doing tailoring. Tailoring is not just stitching, but it is the art of designing, fitting, fabricating, and finishing garments. Mr. Naveenji will correct me if I make mistakes in his speech. In the Oxford Dictionary, the word tailor first appeared in the year 1297. So till the year 1297, there was no word like tailor present in the world. As we all know, there are three categories of garments, briefly called RTW, RTS, and FD. RTW means ready to wear, which is very common today in the malls, etc., shops when you get the ready-made garments. These are known as ready to wear. And RTS, that's ready to stitch. That means you go shop for your shirts, your blouses, your salwar kameez, whatever. Hello, can you all hear me? There's some disturbance.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. For me, ready to wear was my first business failure. Way back in 1991, my Dolphin Group launched two brands. His woman for ladies' garments and her man for gents' garments. And probably as a ladies' brand, his woman, it was the first women's label available or created at that time in 1991. But we failed miserably. And this is, as I said, it is one of my failure businesses. Well, tailoring is, as I said, is not just stitching. It is the art of designing, fabricating, fitting, and finishing. Well, as I have a limited time, I want to just give an example of something which haunted me for a couple of years and which most of you might have realized or might not have realized. What is it? What was haunting me for almost 4 or 5 years or before I got into Google, etc., because I've never used to get into Google earlier than last 1.5 years. So what was it haunting me? What was haunting me was, why is it that gents' shirts is buttoning from left to right and women's blouses from right to left? That was haunting me for a long time. Then I realized the reason why the men had the buttons left to right was because they had the swords always on the left. So when they used to draw the sword, if the shirt was from right to left, it used to get stuck in between the buttons. So that's why they changed for men from left to right. Then why the ladies changed to right to left? There are two different reasons. One is a French version, another is an English version. The French version is the French royals were the first people who were getting dressed in ready-made clothes. So they always had maids. So it was much easier for the maid to button up a lady than the lady herself buttoning. So that was one example. That is the French version. The English version is, you know how snobbish the English were. So they said, if the men's wear is from left to right, women should be right to left. They should be different. So that's how these two things came across. So similarly, I know I've taken a little longer time than what I've been given to. I want to leave this platform or finish my discussion by leaving 3 more questions to the participants. point number one, maybe 3 or 4, I have a lot of questions. Because I'm a science student and being a nuclear science, always I keep searching why, until I find the reason, I don't leave it. So first time when I bought the bottom down collar shirt, I said all my shirt buttonholes were vertical. But why is it my collar buttonhole is horizontal? So this is one question. Second question, I want to leave it for the participants is, on a shirt cuff, gent shirt cuff, why are there 2 buttons? Why not 1 button? This is all there in the ready-made buttons. Then thirdly, the latest shirts when you buy, probably from about 8 or 10 years back, you find the last button of your shirt, last bottom button of your shirt, the buttonhole is horizontal. So why is it? Again, I can keep on asking various questions. Why are the men's suits split on the side? Why is a coat having buttons? You know why the coat has buttons? It was Napoleon who introduced buttons on the coats, because the soldiers used to rub their nose on their sleeves. So Napoleon said, put buttons there, so when they rub their nose, the buttons will hurt their nose. So these are the type of things what we have been, I've been rather trying to work out and understand. And I found the reasons. But I would like to share, and I would not like to share it right now. I leave it as a question to people so that your mind is active. Try to work out. When you find your own reasons, you will remember it better. Anyway, so thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. We now look forward very eagerly to Mr. Naveen Pishe. Naveen sir, as I said, my family has the roots in tailoring, right? Like many of us, I did some, as I said, I did some business in garment, but failed miserably. Though I exported a lot of garments to Russia, but that apart. Then whatever I said, if there are errors and mistakes, it's better for you to correct us right now so that people who are participating there, they do not go back with a wrong information. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mr. Naveen Pishe for accepting the invitation and coming us. And we are all very eagerly looking forward to and researching back our DNA and unleashing our Bhavsar DNA business. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
That's wonderful, Mr. K.V.Rao, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, we keep listening these questions. I think it requires another session. We'll definitely arrange a session. There's so many questions, like why jeans pant will have small pockets. So many questions. Anyway, all right. So let's move on. I request Mr. Ratnakar ji from Bangalore to introduce this speaker. Ratnakar, over to you. Can you unmute?
Yes. Can you hear me? Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Manohar. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ratnakar from Bangalore. So as Mr. Rao gave a background of how it evolved, the tailoring, and the best part is why the buttons are like this and why not like in that fashion. So it's like there are too many questions, but definitely I think Naveen sir will answer to these because he's the expert in this to let us know how it got evolved, and not only about button, but definitely how it evolved from custom tailoring. Then, as Mr. Rao said, it's not only custom tailoring, but also it's an art. But I would add one more point into this. Now the new generation comes into picture, and the branding is also there. So how they brand for this particular uh, garment industry, right? So especially the tailoring, we usually don't see the branding actually. We see in ready-made garments, but not in the tailoring usually. But I think this is one unique thing in P.N.Rao, wherein you can see this branding as well. So that's why I say P.N.Rao is not just a name, it's a brand by itself. Okay. So let's get started. So I'll give a quick background of P.N.Rao Fine Suits, and then I'll talk about Mr. Naveen Pishe. So give me 10 minutes so that I can take you through the complete details of the how it evolved. So P.N.Rao Fine Suits was founded in 1923 by late Sri Narayanrao in Bangalore. It was a small store on MG Road with Sri P.N.Rao designing garments for officers and ladies of erstwhile British Empire. So we can imagine those days how they were stitching, and they were giving the service to them. Today, the brand has made an incredible mark with stores spread across Bangalore, Chennai, and I got to know that they are also now in Hyderabad as well. To know more about P.N.Rao success story, today we have our keynote speaker, Mr. Naveen Pishe, who is a grandson of Sri P.N.Rao. So Sri Naveen Pishe is a Sri businessman who embodies the values and legacy that comes with brand P.N.Rao, and has all the requisites to carry forward the baton to great heights with Elan. Sri Naveen Pishe works in the capacity as a partner at P.N.Rao, which is one of India's oldest and largest family-led organization in the suiting industry. This organization is founded by his grandfather, Sri P.N.Rao, who was soon joined by the second generation flag bearers, Sri Mahendra Pishe and his brother Chandra Mohan Pishe. They all have been successfully taking the brand to the next level. So Sri Naveen Pishe is third generation entrepreneur who was influential in establishing brand P.N.Rao as one-stop solution for fine suits needs. He oversees business expansion, finance, marketing, and not only that, he also looks after the logistics behind setting up the new stores for P.N.Rao and helps them match the standards set by their flagship stores on MG Road in Bangalore. Sri Naveen holds a graduation degree in commerce, and he has done a specialization course at JD Institute of Fashion in Bangalore. He has also completed a personal productivity course with Leadership Management International. So this is about his studies, and coming to his interests and what he does. So here is the details. Sri Naveen takes keen interest in leading a healthy life, and he is fitness enthusiast. He believes a healthy mind and body translate into greater productivity at work. So which is very important for any organization actually. Besides work and his love for fitness, he has been an adventure sports person. He has been to many adventure destinations and tried many adventures, like for example, skydiving to camping in the African jungles. So this is about Mr. Naveen. So Naveen ji, welcome to Talk Show. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ratnakar.
Thank you, Manohar.
Welcome, sir. Naveen Pishe, sir. We are very proud that you are one of us. Sir. and are excited to hear your entire journey and inspirational talk. Sir, the stage is yours. Hello.
Yeah. Thank you, Manoj, for a wonderful introduction. It was really nice. Good to be here. Sagla Namaskar. I'm very thankful and grateful to Narayan Tatuskar ji for initiating this invite, and Dr. Sathvik for inviting me to be here. It's a wonderful pleasure. Like Mr. Rao was mentioning, we are also very proud to be from the tailoring community, and wherever we go, we always tell everybody when they ask me what is your profession, I say I am a tailor. So that only my father, my grandfather, all of us, and very happy to be part of this show. So I made a small presentation. So if I can just share my screen, will allow me to share my screen?
Yeah, sure. Srinivaji, can you make Pishe sir as a co-host?
Manoharji, now you are host.
Yes, sir, you are good to go.
Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, again, a warm good evening to everybody. Just wanted to, share some highlights. And the way I'm making this presentation is, it's more about me and brand P.N.Rao, how I've associated with it, and how, I myself and the brand grew together. So I've titled this as My Path to Business Success. I want to thank my son in Bharat to helping me making this presentation. Well, as usual, everything that we start with my grandfather. And, since he was the one who founded this organization in 1923, even till today, there are a lot of things that we do with his blessings and with the vision and values that he has shown us. All this, even till now, we follow it. So we want to always thank and pray to him for giving us this opportunity of being born in this wonderful Pishe family. Well, just a small history about our store. That used to be our old store. As you can see, in 1923, it was a mix of everything. We had like from underwear, socks, jeans, pants, fabrics, as was the culture those days. Good business on the main MG Road. The store still we have our store there in that location. Slides got stuck. Yeah. So one of the keen things that we have learned from my grandfather is like the earlier gentleman Mr. Rao was mentioning was keeping up in timing. And he became the official vendor for the British garrison in the 1940s, just as the British were about to leave and India was about to take over. So at that point of time, they called for a meeting. The meeting was in what, if everybody from Bangalore knows, is the current Bed Barracks Army School. There was a British garrison. So the meeting was at 6 a.m. in the morning. And those days, 6 a.m. in the morning in Bangalore was really freezing cold. And however, my grandfather went walking all the way up there, and he reached at 5:45 a.m. And the sentry at the gate said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm Mr. P.N.Rao. I've come here for the vendor discussion." And he said, "Okay." He opened the gate and he allowed him inside. So he waited, and at 6 o'clock sharp, the sentry closed the gate and took my grandfather inside to meet the brigadier. And the brigadier said, "Come, Mr. Rao, have a cup of tea." So he said, "The brigadier, thank you for the cup of tea, but what about the discussion for the vendor?" He said, "What? There's no discussion. You're the only person. You have got the order. You become a vendor now for the next 3 years." After that, 6:05, there were 5 people waiting outside. 6:15, another 10 people were waiting outside the door. So the sentry came and told them, "Sir, we have 15 more people. What do I do?" He said, "Ask them to go. They are late." So till today, whenever we have our training sessions in our office, in our factory, and in our, we always tell all our staff, "Listen, this is how this company has come across. If you do not be on time, you will never get the order, and you will never get future customers." So one of the values, I wanted to share, which my grandfather has taught us, which till today we continue, to keep on talking about it and implement it as to the best of our abilities. So, just though the that, there were a lot of history and a lot of values, but I know to cut the story short, I'll just move on to from when I joined the business. I joined the business in 1991, just straight out of college. Those days, even before college, I used to go to the office, to the showroom, and I used to help my father do many things. And those are the culture those days. When the youngsters of the family, right from when you're 14, 15 years old, you are involved in taking care of the business. So in 1991, I joined the business, and on the first day that I entered the showroom, so my father gave me a cloth and told me, "Start dusting the shop." So I was like, what is this? Owner's son is telling him to start dusting the shop. What is going on? So I told Dad, "What is this? Why you want to dust the shop?" He said, "Start dusting. Don't worry, you dust." So I took the shop, its cloth, and I started dusting the shop, cleaning and all that. Then again, next day morning, I went, again he gave me the cloth. And I said, "Arey, what is going on?" I said, "Okay, anyway, let me just obey his instructions." And my father, he's like a military guy, he's got a big bush. I don't know people who have seen him. So he's quite strict. So that way, so he used to tell me, "Ugas kaam kar rahe, jasti ghost kar nako." He's telling me and I have to do it. So like that 1 week went on, and I suddenly realized that now after 1 week of cleaning the showroom, I am knowing where each product is kept. So I know where there are shirts are, I know where the pants are, I know where the blankets are. I went up, climbed up, put a ladder, opened the top cupboard. I can see so much of inventory lying there, and I could see each and every order, who's the order, customer names. So I realized that within 1 week, I knew so much about the inventory lying in the store, which if my father had not given me the duster in my hand, I would have never learned. So that was my first learning, in the business, that initially in the first few stages as a youngsters, if there are any youngsters in this group, we should always just take the instructions from our bosses. It may be our father, it may be somebody else, maybe our uncles, but it's important that we take the instructions and learn from them. And I think sometimes we don't know whether what the outcome is going to be. We're worried whether this is the right thing to do. Sometimes we are feeling humiliated, but that is not the actual thing what the parents or the people above us want us to go through. The actual thing is that we should know the ropes of the business. And I think that's very important for me when I did that. And the first 1 year, I learned everything. My uncle, who was a master, he taught me how to press the pant, how to, sometimes any urgent alteration, I used to even do the, pama thutto panta, and all that we used to do. So I learned the ropes of the trade in the first 1 year. So I think, looking at this positive attitude of mine, my father at that point of time our showroom was very old and it was a kind of a dilapidated state. So we wanted to construct the new building in that property. So that new building we started to construct, and I think seeing it, my positive attitude, he told me, "Tu sambalenge re Naveen, tu building bandunga me. I'll get all the work, get the contractor and all fixed, but you have to stand and build it." So I said, "Yes, sir, I will do it for you, no problem." And I think another learning for me there was, when we are young, we have to take up responsibility, because in our youth, that is when we have the energy, and not that we just have to oversee. We have to make our hands dirty. So that is another huge lesson for me, where my father and my uncle, they taught me how to do the things in a proper manner, not just simply stand there and see. They actually get involved in the process. So that with that responsibility of building that building, though it was a small building, for me it was a very big responsibility, and I took up the responsibility. And when we opened the store in 1995, reopened the new building and the new interior of the store, people were really happy. Customers were so, feeling so welcomed in the new atmosphere. And another reason why we were successful in making that building a good construction was that we took professional help. Unlike a lot of other buildings which were built on MG Road those days, they only just took the contractor and made the building. We hired professional architects. We took professional agencies to get the work done. We never flouted any rules. We built, if you come and see the setback in our MG Road store is so back. So, and we made everything in a proper manner so that there was no issues. And within a span of 2 years, 2.5 years, even the building was ready, and even the interior also was done. So for those days, it was a pretty fast work. Now it happens much faster. So another lesson I learned was, it is important that, like people should come to us for our professional help, we should go to others for their professional help. It could be architects, it could be lawyers, it could be a lot of people I see in our trade and my friends and all that. They just think that they can do everything on their own and try to save some money. Actually, you're not saving money, you're spending a lot of money tomorrow. Maybe saving today, tomorrow you're spending a lot more. During this course, I was becoming a young man, and I found upon a group called Roundtable India, which a lot of people recommended me to join, and I joined this group, and it helped me a lot in leadership. I have created a separate slide. I'll talk a little bit more about later. Then in the year 1997, as you all know, in Bangalore, the IT wave was there. Infosys, Wipro, they all started becoming very popular in Bangalore in particular, and all internationally large. So we used to started getting a lot of customers who wanted specifically suits, and we were good at making suits, but we never had the capacity to do that kind of number of suits. And we always used to take 3 weeks, 4 weeks for delivery, and with all these foreigners coming, it was a very difficult task for us. So again, then I was given the responsibility to take up this matter. So we went and actually spoke to some of these IT people, and they said that this is what the number of people will be coming in. So we created a setup where we started focusing more on suits. And here is one thing that I learned, is that we have to identify and grab our opportunities. Though the opportunity may come knocking on our door, sometimes we don't identify it. So we were lucky, and that our eyes were open, and we identified this wave of customers coming in, and that is how actually the real kick for us started. So we are thankful to the IT industry that they were growing they helped us grow in such a manner. So these waves are very important for us to grasp. Sometimes we have our eyes and ears open so that we see them. Similarly, in the year 1998, we had one more store on Brigade Road. It was called Rupasi. So there, my dad's younger brother, he was managing that business, but it was not doing really well at that point of time, because it was a family concept store. So we had like everything, ladies, gents, all of it mixed. And in 1997, 98, the brands were coming in and creating an impact, and that particular business was not such successful. So we quickly adapted to the new marketing conditions and took up the franchisee of a Van Heusen store. So we ran a business with Van Heusen. We had almost 2 or 3 showrooms with them until the year until about 2 years ago, when we wanted to focus more on P.N.Rao and we scrapped doing business with them. But it was a very, at that point of time, for 2 decades, we did wonderful business. And I thought it was a very good thing for us that we adapted and moved and took up these new opportunities as it came along for us. Then, of course, in 1998, everything cannot be work. So I happened to meet my soulmate, Lakshmi, my wife, and this is the point where I'd like to share that business is not the end and all for everything. So we have to spend time in finding the right companion for ourselves, or if our parents are finding it, then we have to spend time in making sure the right decision. I want to spend a few minutes on this because a lot of times in a family business, this becomes a very crucial decision of who the person you're getting married to and what kind of wife you're going to have in the future. So this is an aspect that a lot of people, sometimes I'm not saying that everybody makes a wrong decision, but some people make a wrong decision of going for the flamboyance and going for something and where, it kind of really hurts the family business. So I'm not sure if you've seen any examples, but I've seen, and it's very important to find a good soulmate, not that somebody you just for the looks and, you're being kind of courting and all that. So I was very happy in 1998 to meet someone that I really fell in love with, and eventually we got married. There's a small personal story I want to share, and because it is our close-knit community, I'm sharing it here. So I request that whoever is hearing it to keep it tight. But this is some experience, in my younger days when I had, which happens in almost every family, but I don't know, people don't share it, I guess. I debated a lot in my mind, but eventually I decided to put this point. See, when I joined my business, my dad and his younger brother, Chandra Mohan, they were not getting along well. They were always having some issues, and they were not seeing eye to eye. Then I took it upon myself to try and see, how I can bridge this gap. So I started talking to my uncle and, trying to make things, eventually in 1998, because he was running the shop, together we decided to do many things. My uncle also wanted the same things what my father wanted. Eventually both their goals are actually the same. But it was a communication gap, which was not letting them to speak to each other. And that was what was hampering the business. And, luckily for me, I spent a lot of time with my uncle and with my father, pushing them together. And, we used to have a lot of family get-togethers. My mom was a great cook, so we should call everybody home for lunch, especially Sundays. And that was, I think, a very important lesson for me, that if you run a successful business, we need effective communication and transparency in the family. And today, I'm telling you, my uncle and my father, they're so close, they cannot be separated. They love each other so much. Not that they weren't loving each other before, but it was this communication gap, which, made them struggle even to talk to each other. So I think at some point of time, all of us should dwell on these points and must analyze that the other person, we cannot take sides in our families. Even if it is my own father, I cannot take his side and go against my uncle. Or if I cannot go against my father and go with my uncle, we always have to try to bridge. There'll always be problems in families. It's not that no family is perfect. And, we all try to live by the best culture and best values that is provided to us. So, this is a little personal thing which I wanted to share. And I think it's very important that all families, that we learn that being together is definitely any day better than being separate. Of course, there may be situations which, tomorrow may come, we don't know. We have to be ready for anything. But this is my personal experience. And anybody here who's in the family business, is my urge to try and stay as much as possible and understand each other, because together we are stronger and bolder. Outside, the competition is not easy today. You may be seeing out there's a flourishing P.N.Rao, but believe me, it's not easy to come here. You have to fight it every day. Is a war there today. And there are so many brands, so many big names pouring in money. So we have to be agile, flexible, and at the same time, think top of our hats and be strong. So this is my first 10 years of business. I hope I'm not boring anybody here. So I'll move on to the next slide. And the next decade of my career is called planning and remedy. As you know that every business requires planning, and it requires to sort out some few problems that is there before you start to grow. So in 2000, I got married to Lakshmi, and brought in the marriage brings a lot of stability into your life. I feel I got married a little late in 29. I should have got married in 27. It would have been ideal for me. And this is my personal experience. Of course, people may differ. It brings a lot of stability in your life. It makes you think differently. It tries to bring in security, and so many angles you start to change, because until then you're carefree, you're going out with friends, parties here, this and that. Now, so now you have to change. You have to think that how am I going to? There's a new person in my life. I'm going to have children, and things like that. So I think she brought in a lot of stability to my life, and a lot of goodwill, and love and affection. I think it's very important for a man to bring all of this into his life so that there is stability all around him. Particularly when you're taking up a leadership role in your family, it's very important that you have a stable relationship, spouse who is always supporting you. It's very important. And in the same in 2000 also, as I started realizing the stability factor is important, I realized it is also important to grow. So in our own, the new building, we had the second floor, which we had rented out. We started to taste our first taste for growth. We opened a new section there, and it started doing really well. So I was very happy that soon as my wife came and I started something new, and Lakshmi brought in some good Lakshmi home. So that was very nice for me. So we had our first taste of growth there. Then between 2000 and 2005, we had to kind of remedy some situations that was there in the past, legacy issues that were there in the family. Like, for example, again, this is on a personal note that I'm sharing with everybody. It's not many people outside our community will know, but it's important that we keep this within ourselves. So my aunt was there, my dad's elder brother, P.N.Rao. He had passed away in 1995, and we had made his wife a partner in the business, but we had not settled her fully, and she wanted a full settlement. And we were very happy to do a settlement with her, but that took a lot of time, and it took about 2 years for me because it was a very emotional thing for us. Apart from just separating the family, it was very emotional for both sides. We still have a lot of love and affection between all our family homes, even till today. That is because we did such a nice way of having a good separation, successful separation, and clean separation. So we did that. That took a lot of time. We had other legacy issues where some properties were having, very old tenants. So we had to remove them. And these are all, expensive properties. Legacy tenants were there paying us low rent. Our maintenance cost was more than the rent that they were paying us, if you look at those days. And then also, the other thing was people in the family were not happy because, we had a very old house, dilapidated condition. I mean, I don't know, some people, Mr. Balakrishna may remember our old house where we had a roof and the plumbing was becoming a big problem, no attached toilets. And, it was a struggle. Family is not happy. So we realized that, we need to focus on giving good homes. So I also realized that if the family is not happy, your business is never going to be successful. So it's very important that your family is happy. So we said, I said, okay, before I go on to business growth, let me focus on these aspects. So I spent some time on it, and with the help and guidance of my father and uncle, we successfully had a beautiful separation with my aunt and her 3 daughters. And we had successfully fought some court cases, and in some cases amicably removed some tenants by long-standing negotiations with them. And at the same time, our ancestral property, we gave it for a joint development to a developer, and all of us were able to buy and live in beautiful new homes, which we are all living today. So I feel it's important at this juncture to tell all our friends who are watching this that it's very important to have a happy family, to have a successful business. If a successful business without a happy family is not possible, I have not seen anywhere where the family is not happy and the business is successful. Eventually, over a period of time, something or other will go wrong. So once this was done, I said, okay, all the legacy issues are closed. So I started focusing on the business. This sorting out of legacy issues also created a lot of goodwill for the family, because the way we did it was very nice. We were able to do it in a good manner. So a lot of goodwill was created. People were happy. And when people are happy, the energy is different, and the energy started to build for us. And it created a very good atmosphere for growth. At the same junction, my Chandramohan, my younger uncle's son, he also now decided to join the business. So then we realized that, to get one more person into business, the business has to grow. Because if you don't create space, then what happens is, for the same showroom, if you have one more person, one is the income is not enough, two is there always be difference of opinions. So that will create problems. So it's better we said, let's create a growth plan and let's open more showrooms. We'll create a new concept. So with that vision, we went and created a new structure for bespoke tailoring and retail formats on suits. So here we gave a lot of emphasis for training for the staff and the concept. So that time there was nobody who was created a concept of just suits and tailoring. So we took up the mantle and said, we will build this brand. So like Madhukar rightly put it, we started focusing on creating a brand and living up to the name that we want to create. So it's one thing to create a brand, and it's another thing to live up to the name. So we did all of that. And in this juncture, I'd like to say that it's very important for us to adapt and change. With new people joining the business, the size of the business has to increase. This is another really important point. A lot of times we will see children just coming into the business, but it's the same size of business. It's not possible. In a matter of 2 to 3 years, you will realize that it's financially not viable, and either people will start getting angry or upset or going elsewhere. So in order to do that, it's better to start the growth plan much before the new person is coming into the business. So that's another learning for us, and I hope that somebody can learn something from this. We also started looking at technology for our business at a very early stage. So in 2007, and even as early as 1997, I started using a software called Shopper to manage our inventory, because those days it was very difficult for me to manage the tailoring and the inventory. So tailoring took away a lot of my time. Every individual order was different, like all of you will understand. I don't have to explain. But the inventory management was a big issue. So I took a software and I was able to manage the inventory quite well. So we started depending on technology quite early in our business, and we continue till today. So we created a tailoring software where we recorded all the orders and created work orders, so there was no mistakes. So there was not much of writing involved, and with that fewer mistakes were there, and the customers were happy. So to get more growth, I'm sure everybody knows today that without technology you cannot do it. Then once we created the business plan in 2007 and corporate structure growth plan. So what I mean by corporate structure growth plan is each of our partners were given responsibilities. He says, "Tu tailoring देखेंगे, tu purchase देखेंगे, tu sales देखेंगे, tu marketing देखेंगे." So each of one was given responsibilities, and all of us have to give the responsibility. And every week partners have to meet. So Wednesday 11:30, if you come to our office, 4 partners will be sitting together and discussing. Even today, when there is pandemic, we do virtual meeting. So we will have, and we will do the meeting even today. So because everybody has to know, that is the transparency. What is what I am doing, what Ketan is doing, what Chandramohan is doing, what Machendra is doing. So this is very important. So we have to create that kind of a family structure. So eventually, when we created the concept store in 2008 in Jayanagar, even at the time of that time, the market was very bad. Everybody knows about the market in 2008. Still, the concept was a success, and we said, okay, immediately we have to roll out and make the changes. So we made the changes in our MG Road store. And we also recognize that, because we have so much of labor-oriented work and high training involvement, we did a HR study. Those days, we paid a consultant 5 lakh rupees in 2009 to create a HR plan for us, to create a training structure, to create how we can do the promotion for the right people, and how we can do the increments for the staff. So we create an appraisal policy, and even till today we are using this, and it's very successful for us. So it's very important that we recognize our employees and take care of them, without which no business you can run on your own. You need good people, top quality people, without which you cannot succeed, and you have to pay them well. So this structure is very important, and it has helped us. And even till today, we have got less than 1 to 1.5% attrition from our staff. And then, of course, in 2010, we started implementation of the plan and opened stores in many areas. So, sorry, did I mute myself? Yeah. So in this, in 2010, we realized that if we are growing, there's going to be a lot of risk. For example, we are taking loans, we are taking risk of getting so much of inventory. Then we said, what if something goes wrong? Who will take care of the family and those kind of things? So at that point of time, we hired one family business consultant called Mr. Raju Swami. And he came on board and helped us create a family business constitution. So in this constitution, it was a very important part of our, keeping the family together story. It was very clearly said that we should have a family office. So today we have our family office. My father and uncle, they head the family office, where they create a lot of investments in terms of how to create trusts, how to create funds. So we created 4 or 5 trusts for the family, whereby tomorrow if something goes wrong with the business, even if it goes bankrupt, that money in the trust cannot be touched. So insurance policies were in place so that in case something happens, the loan gets paid off. Because at the end of the day, the business is dependent on us. Something happens to us, we don't know where the business will go. So it's very important to do this risk management and plans for the future. It's very important to create common goals. It's very good. We have to keep on going. And me and Ketan, we always talk. I say, are you going in the right direction? Yes, we're going in the right direction. Every time we sit together and we go somewhere out for coffee and we say, hi, Ba, barabar chalo thai ka, are we on the right direction? So these are the very important thing. And we created a family constitution where now today we are reached such a level that the next generation also is coming in. We know what to do, how to accommodate them, how to take care of them. Education for the youngsters, how to take care of, because we like to send the good education. We want to send them to America, wherever it is, Europe, Italy, where the education is required for our kind of business to come forward. So we made provision for all of that. And I think it's very important to tell all business families that want to grow must do this. You must hire a good person to take care of all your investments. And believe me, all today, even in the pandemic, with all of these problems that we are facing of no income for so many months and all that, because of this only, we are able to somehow manage and pull along without any great hit for us. So end of the day, we are a family-run business. We don't have any outside investments, no venture capitalists, nothing coming and helping us in funds. Maybe some small amount of bank loan is there, but that's about it. Everything else is in our own funds. So it's very important, and I hope whoever is doing, anybody starting a business or growth, please do these things. It's crucial to keep the family together and build trust and security for the family. This is how that particular 2010 went away in a lot of getting these structures in place. 2011, we continued the business rollout. It took a long time for us to find a store in Chennai. And I must tell you that, we successfully completed 10 years of being in Chennai now. And at that point of time, I don't know if you remember, in Chennai, the competition is huge. I mean, not that the competition is less in Bangalore, but we were a new player in Chennai. So it became very important for us to ensure that we had success there. So I personally took it upon myself. You won't believe it, but every week I was in Chennai for 2 to 3 days for 2 years, every week. So in fact, my wife would tell me, are you living in Chennai or in Bangalore? But that's what it took. So if you want a business to be successful, you have to go there, and because it's a personalized business, it's not something you're just selling and forgetting, So it's a personalized business. So we did that, and that was one. We also wanted to create our own brand, and we successfully launched our signature wear by P.N.Rao, where we make our own shirts, suits, and all of that. Today now we have our own factory where we can make our ready-made production also. We just started that recently, 2 to 3 years ago. And of course, we opened our Malleshwaram and Koramangala stores as per the business plan and in Hyderabad. But unfortunately, in the pandemic, we had to shut that Hyderabad store, but we will open it back shortly. 2017, we implemented an ERP. In 2015, we had a big scam from one of our accountants. He robbed 40 lakh rupees from our account. And that really, by the time we found out, it was 1 year, it was almost 6 months, or later only we found out that the fellow robbed the money and he had left the job. So it took such a long time for us to fight. Then we realized that our process and system is weak. We don't have a proper good software. So we invested in a good ERP and implemented it. And today we are able to get all the accounts on track on a click of a button. So that now from our mistakes we have learned, and we are implemented, and as usual taken technologies to help us. So I hope I've not bored everybody. So this is what our current stores look like. One is our Koramangala store and Malleshwaram store. So finally, as a takeaway, what do we take away from all of this? So I just want to put it down in 4 or 5 simple points. Whatever I've done has these 4, 5, 6 crucial points. Good family life is crucial for our business's success. So our family must be happy and must have a fruitful life, so that only then we can run a success business. We must have business integrity and be transparent. Not only with our partners, we have to be transparent with our employees. We have to be transparent with our vendors and with our bankers and whoever. We have to be transparent and build a wonderful relationship, especially with our customers also. If there is something wrong, you must correct it. You must not wait and fight and say, no, this is not correct. No, Asar's Rao, this is the sleeve length, it should be. No, we have to make it correct and give it to him and make him happy. When he walks out of the door, they have to be happy. Vendors need to be paid on time, and you cannot delay the payments to vendors. And even for the staff, whatever happens in our business, we are very clear. First, the payment must go to staff. Only then we will take our money. So this is, and it's all written down in the constitution. Once upon a time, maybe I can share that it's still a work in progress document. And we have to adapt to changes in the market. We cannot think that market is going to be how we want to be. No, we have to change according to the market. If you don't change, then it's going to be a problem. Plan for the future. If you don't plan for the future, it's going to be very difficult. And once we make the plan, we have to adapt to the plan also. It's not that you make a plan and you can stick to it. Sometimes you have to make the changes on the way. And network within and outside your industry. It's very important that we network within and outside our industry, and make our industry grow. We have to know what is happening outside, meet people within our industry and outside our industry to see what's happening. And very important is we have to have a learning attitude. The learning attitude, if we do not have, we have to have a very humble and learning attitude. If we do not have that learning attitude, we're never going to go far. We're always going to think that we know everything and we will suffer. You won't believe it, in this pandemic. When my uncle taught me the cutting and all that, last 20 years, I have not been doing any cutting, not 25 years. So in the last pandemic, I started to learn again. So I learned again how to cut pant. Now I'm learning how to cut shirt. I'm going back to the tactics. So it's very important we learn. We cannot think that we know everything all the time. So all these years, because I was more involved in administrative activities, I stopped my cutting and within the store, and we always hired masters. But today I thought I must go back to the drawing board, and I started to learn all over again, and it's bringing me back wonderful memories with my uncle and the old master tailor who's still working with us. And most of all, in a family business, we have to enjoy the process. If you're not enjoying, till today, when I wake up in the morning, I feel like I want to go to the work office and do some good work. So that attitude we have to have. We have to enjoy this process. I think I forgot this roundtable slide somewhere. So I'm sorry, I'm just going to go back to that. Yeah. In the 1996, like I mentioned, I joined this organization called Roundtable. I kind of changed my life. It was like, I got, like how I got married to Lakshmi, it changed my life. When I joined Roundtable, it kind of changed my life. One of the main reasons I joined Roundtable was to network and socialize. When I joined it, that was my only reason to join. But actually, it taught me a lot of things. It taught me how to take up responsibilities. It taught me how to take up leadership roles. I became the chairman of my club when I was 33. So Roundtable is an organization for 40 people and younger. It's very similar to Rotary, because I know a lot of you people know Rotary, but like Rotary, it's only if you cross 40, then you have to retire in Roundtable. So at a very young age, allows you to take leadership roles. It allows you to make mistakes and learn. Now in Rotary, it's very difficult, and other organizations, very difficult for you to make mistakes, and they still keep you there. But in Roundtable, you are allowed to make mistakes, and you're allowed to learn from them, and there's always somebody else to back you up in case something goes wrong. And it also provided me with a much needed exposure, and it gave me by giving me that exposure, I got a lot of confidence. So friends there themselves told me to take up this productivity course, because I was going to become chairman in 2003. At the same time, I was doing this family settlement. Then my brother-in-law was getting engaged at the same time. I was only arranging everything. So I was finding it difficult to juggle all of the roles. So they told me to do this productivity, and it helped me so much, you can't imagine. And all the training programs and leadership sessions they have. Till today, I have friends from Roundtable, even though it's been 10 years, 11 years since I left the organization. Lifelong friends. I know I'll die with them. So I think it's important that all of us join an organization. You don't have to join only Roundtable, but you can join Rotary, there's Lions. Join something, give your time, and you have to give back to society by building schools, or in Roundtable we used to build schools. So when I was chairman, I built a beautiful school in Bhupasandra. It was an Urdu school. A lot of Muslim kids. They were the original school attached to a mosque, and there were 350 kids cramped. So we said, okay, we'll take up this project, and we built a school for them. Wonderful 6 classrooms, beautiful kitchen, nice place to play, small playground, everything. So that's why we have to give back to society. If you don't give back to society, then there's nothing, to say who we are. So that way, I think, joining an organization like Roundtable helped me hone my skills. It helped me in my communication a lot, because I really understood how to talk to people. I did a wonderful session on negotiations in Roundtable, which I'm telling you has helped me immensely. So there was a wonderful trainer who came and told us how to negotiate, not to get whatever we want, to understand that other person win-win situation is important, not that we have to take whatever I want. So that negotiation taught me a lot. So it's always good to join an organization which will help you hone your skills and make you a better person. And finally, coming to the end, the best way to predict your future is to create it. This is by Peter Drucker. He's an old management consultant, probably. I don't even know if he's alive now when I read it. He's about 87, 90 years old. So we have to create our own path. There is no way that anybody else can do it for us. And as a family business, I can tell you that nobody is going to come and help you, because the only competition was trying to pull you down. There's always negativity around you. So to remain positive, you have to create it. You have to create your future. Well, that's the 4 partners. The gentleman on the complete left with the big mustache is my father, Mr. Bachendra Pishe. And to his left is his younger brother, Chandramohan Pishe. And to his left is me, Naveen. And to my left is Ketan, who is the 4th partner. Together, we make a wonderful team at P.N.Rao. And I hope this team continues for many, many more years. Strong family as we are today, continues for many generations. So thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity. I hope I didn't bore anybody. It was a long conversation. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Narayan Tatuskar ji. Thank you. I hope I have lived up to my expectations today. And if there's any questions anybody want to ask, I'll be happy to share. And just for Mr. Rao's, he asked those questions. So the last button is there because at the bottom it is horizontal, because when you go down, your hand, when it is vertical, is difficult to adjust your button. So when you go down, it becomes horizontal and it's easier for you to remove your button. And as far as the 2 buttons on the shirt is concerned, it's because on one hand you'll have a watch, on the other hand you don't have a watch. So on the hand that you want a watch, you can always loosen it, and on the hand that you do not have a watch, you can keep it tight. So that's the real reason why the 2 buttons is there. And the collar also, the same reason for that is because you can easily button it here. You have the angle is slightly different. Some people even give you the collar shirt. Here also the angle little different because it's easier to open out. Another very interesting thing I want to tell you about the 4 buttons on the sides, on the sleeve. See, earlier days it used to be a hunting jacket. Before you invented a suit, the first jacket that was created was a hunting jacket. So in the hunting jacket, they needed place to move like this. So they created buttons. Old days, it is what we call as a working button. Working button was there. Today, of course, a lot of the people make it a formality. They don't give you a working button. They just keep the buttons there. So that's another reason why the button has become a show now. But earlier it was be working. You could open the button and pull your sleeves up and do your work with it also, like hunting, and even it was not a very clean job, you could do it. So that's my take. I'm also still learning, to be honest with you, in the trade. Every day we are learning. So thank you.
I have a question, Naveen sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, Balakrishna sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm very fine. Yeah.
So I'm very happy and privileged to tell all my Bhavsar friends here that I am associated with P.N.Rao, serving, supplying and maintaining generators for most of his branches. It all happened only because of Machandar sir Pishe for being in Bhavsar Vision India. Even though earlier my wife's grandfather was there in P.N.Rao as a master, but that couldn't have a connect. But because of Bhavsar Vision India group, it happened. This is a wonderful platform to have a one Bhavsar to another Bhavsar, a wonderful connect. So this is besides, what's my question to you, sir? You started with the values of our grandfather, Mr. P.N.Rao, that he was very punctual with the timings, and you went on to say many more things which people have to know and still being adopted in P.N.Rao company, which good if others Bhavsars know, fellow Bhavsars, it will be a good inspiration. The values which you still follow, adopted by your great grandfather, Mr. P.N.Rao.
Yeah, I touched upon it, Mr. Balakrishna. So what is happening for us is see, when my grandfather those days, when he bought a property in Brigade Road, he borrowed 5,000 rupees from this, I'm forgetting his name, Sindhi person, very famous. He used to stay next to the central jail those days. So there they used to stay, and 5,000 rupees he borrowed from them. And at that point of time, we were also going through some struggle because he bought that property, and the business also, there were a lot of inventory coming in and payments had to be made. So that point of time, my father said, "Nahi macho, to asa karo nako, to kasatri bhi haun hasni payment zao barabar time wala." So my father was quite taken aback, and till today he tells me that story. He said, no matter whatever the struggle we go through, we have to make the payment on time, and we have to give. So we struggled, and we made the payment on time to him. And now that there are many stories, where my grandfather had, borrowed 5,000. I think from Namdev Kaka also, he had taken some money many years ago, and he paid it back on time. So you have to create a goodwill in business. When you create goodwill, it's so good. I'm not joking. Till today, so many days I don't carry a wallet with me. My wife always shouts at me, "What? You don't have 1,000 rupees also in your pocket?" I say, "Why should you need money? We have a good name in the market. You go, sir. When I go, nothing comes to my house 100% paid for. I'm not joking. If I want a TV, I have to call my friend. He'll send the TV. Payment will go. Naveen, you pay me. There's no problem. But for the rules for others is different. If you have to go there as a regular customer and buy, or somebody else, you'll take money from you first. I'm just giving you an example. The idea is to create goodwill, even among your own employees. Even this pandemic last year, in the month of April, we cut our some of our, the people who are earning about 25,000 a month, we cut their salaries. But in the last quarter, we paid the money back. So now today, you see how much of trust the employees have with us. So whatever salaries we cut, we repaid the money when we made the money. Okay, so now today the employees, they don't want to leave us because of that. They do, and today we have our employees, we have medical insurance. Today in this pandemic, sir, you won't believe it, for our size of organization, more than 9 lakh rupees insurance policy has been claimed by our staff because of COVID and so many other, because the people are hospitalized. So none of them, we had any problems with our staff. So this is how, we try to keep the value system of what my grandfather taught, make payments on time, keep the goodwill, create friendship, make relationship with your customers, don't treat them badly. Whatever happens, you must take care of your customers. So these are all the, small things that we have learned, opening the store on time. People used to adjust their watch. They'll say 8 o'clock means P.N.Rao aa gaya bhai, watch set karo.
That I agree with you, sir. I think you may not be knowing. Because my grandfather was a master cutter in your shop. And he was not in the shop, but he was in my at our home itself. And the material used to come to my house. And he used to do the cutting and go again, come the next day, pick it up and go. And
I know that, yes, he was in this one. No, what is that? Where that on Kamaraj Road? St. John's Road. I used to come there. No, I remember.
So when your Kaka, that's P.N.Rao, when he used to come, you'll not believe, we used to adjust our watch because sharp 3 o'clock, he used to come to just deliver the material and pick up the cut material that time. So we used to adjust our watch based on your Kaka's timings.
Classic examples, they're leading by examples.
So I know how punctual Mama was.
Correct. So that these are the values. No, see, today also we say so many times it's so difficult because there are so many issues. Sometimes we can't deliver to the customer on time. So we have to make the proper response for it. We cannot just simply wait for the customer to come to the store. So these things we have to create a system. That's why we took technology and we said, no, these things cannot be compromised in our organization. We have to bring it on time, before time, sir, not on time, sorry, before time. That is the culture we have to imbibe. So these are all, cultural values which comes down, only the partners can take control of this. No third person cannot take control.
And one more thing, I think still it continues in your shop. Before you could deliver the material, that is the finished product, there used to be a trial thing.
On time.
That is there.
That is there. Yeah, right from the beginning, that was there. But most of the nowadays, the shops, they don't do that. They just stitch it and give it, deliver it. But that was there right from the time I have seen.
Correct.
So one trial used to be.
Correct. Most of the time we do trial, but sometimes the customer doesn't have time to come. We have our way of giving it without trial also.
Thank you, sir. Wonderfully you have put it across. The fundamental principles really does make a good difference for the legacy to continue so strong for decades and decades. It's a wonderful inspiration to all our fellow bosses. And we need to learn a lot, and everybody should be like P.N.Rao in all over the country.
I think there are some questions in the chat bot. I think there are some questions in the chat.
Has a question for you.
Sir,
Can you put more light on how you compete with other brands? As now we have a lot of foreign companies, brands in this suit industry.
Sir, actually, if you see, it's very simple. We have to have a customer focus centric, and we have to have a good way of reaching new customers. So we have two policies. One is new customer acquisition, and two is retaining existing customer. So we are always trying to make sure our existing customer doesn't go outside, even though, they have to go outside because people we want to try. We're never happy with the same restaurant. We want to try Chinese, we want to try Indian, we want to try within Indian, we go. So we have to understand that this customer has to come back to us, how much money he's spending with us in a year. So we assess all of that and we send out marketing messages to these customers. We try to build the branding of us on, today on social media, earlier on radio and newspaper and things like that. So to keep our self on the customer's mind, we have to do these things. But more importantly is what happens on the floor, sir. So for example, we never call our salesman in the store salesman. We call them consultant. We call them advisors. So you never see in P.N.Rao, we never try to force sell a customer. Means you have to buy or you should buy. Now that culture is not there. We want to assist you to buy the right product, which will either suit, whether it's for your marriage or for your business. You want to buy the right clothes, you buy the right clothes. We're not going to suggest you simply because you will buy or simply to make big bill. So with that, the customer knows us and we're building a trust and reputation. and the customer will come back to us. Even if he goes somewhere places and tries, with all this competition coming in, Tailorman, Raymond, MTM, you can see that so many people are there. Still, our fabric business and tailoring business is very good. Some amount of impact is there on ready-made, because that's a lot of changes going on. Online is there. Some impact is there on ready-made, but that impact also, by expansion, we try to overcome the reduction in one store. We try to get the business up in the other store. So this is where we try to keep it as simple as possible. No point of extravagant expenditure and creating some great marketing tools. Believe me, we have tried it. It's not worked. And they simply will be spending a lot of money, and the true results don't come in. The best way is on the floor, give service to the customer. That will make sure they come back.
Thank you, sir. In the interest of time, I will take two more questions. Shashiji, you have a question? Can you unmute? You can unmute me.
Yeah. Yes. Naveenji, it was a very good talk. We really relish all your, the family values that you said was really amazing. That's where we have to be very strong. And I'm from Chennai talking to you. My question is like, have you or your employees, do you see that more of our bhavsas are benefited, or do you generally take your employees based on their talent, or do you help our community?
No, we would like to prefer to take our community, no doubt, but we go by very strict professional requirements. So we don't care whether it is Hindu, Muslim, Bhavsar. This approach we do not have, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not that we don't want people, but the approach is simply professional, because it's business, ma'am. We can't afford to take any other approach.
All right. Next question. Basan, do you have a question?
Yeah. Hi, sir. Thanks for your valuable time. I have one question. I see that you are a tech-savvy person, and I like the way you focused on technology as an enabler in your business growth. Have you come across any idea that a complete suit or a complete shirt is built using AI, or automatically it is done? I know it could be a sci-fi a thought, but have you thought across about that?
See, we have worked with people whereby we're trying to take measurements remotely. Okay, so if that becomes success, we have achieved some amount of success, but honestly, it's not where it should be, because there are a lot of still errors coming in there. But once we get control of that, I think that will create a lot of scope for improving, because that's the starting point. We need measurements, and once we get the right measurements, then there are a lot of people who are giving you a lot of softwares to create patterns, and we have to sit down and put on the values for those patterns, and on the codes on the software, whereby if I say I'm having 1 inch low waist, that means I should write that in the macros or something. I should go and write down there saying that it's 1 inch low waist, and that will take care of it in the pattern. And then that pattern gets cut on a paper automatically, and somebody just has to put it on a cloth. You don't have to have an expert for that, and cut it. So one part of our business is not going to change. That will always remain a traditional tailor's job. That will always be there. Then this part of business, what we're looking at, is called a made-to-measure part of our business, which we are already started, but it's at a very nascent stage, and we will develop that over the next 2 to 5 years. Maybe I'm hoping we can do it faster. But digitalization of our business is going to be a reality. It's something that we are working on. We don't have a solution yet, Basant, to be honest, and hopefully, but it's going to come soon. I mean, I'm pretty much what we are seeing today is that it will become a reality sooner than later.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Naveenji. Let's start questions here.
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned, are there any youngsters in the group? Yes, there are a lot of youngsters, including me.
Yeah.
It reminds me one of the 7 habits of highly effective people, begin, end in mind. I hope looking at an entire story, this seems to be one of the approach you have adapted. It values a lot for us to understand inclusive approach, importance of family, technology, adopting a change, having a concrete plan. And you also called out importance of joining in an organization. And that's where I want to specifically call out one thing. Thanks BVI, which allowed me and several others like me to get connected with you, to let us increase our scope of network and influence. And you already called out what is the importance of that. Friends, whoever joined and if they are not already part of any BVA club, please talk to your local BVA clubs. Try to get involved. You will get connected to a lot of successful leaders. You never know. You will meet them in your career somewhere. Thanks a lot. And without delaying, I request Sri Dr. Sathvik Rangdolji, BVI Floating Club Chairman, to deliver concluding note.
Thank you, Manoj. First of all, I was very much happy to hear K.V.Rao sir, who gave his preamble very effectively, and it was really, we didn't thought for these many days why the button was like this and why the slot was given horizontal. So really it made our brains work. Thank you, K.V.Rao sir. Naveen, I'm very much happy that you gave a vast experience, your experience in your field to all the members who attended today. Even the family bonding aspect, what you told, and what all the difficulties you had. I was very much touched with a few of the points. I'll just tell you that what you said in 1940, when your grandfather had gone to the British garrison, that at exactly 6 a.m. he had to he had to attend your meeting. Due to his punctuality, he had been given a chance. So that punctuality part was the major thing there. Then you said your marriage at on the year of 2000. Maybe one point you forgot. I thought your wife, she gave a good support, all those things. But responsibility, I think, after marriage, even the responsibility will be more. So that part I wanted to just add that part. And one more thing, what I really appreciated is the difference between your father and your uncle that was there from since 1990 to 2000, and you were the bridge between your father and your uncle, where the effectiveness of communication had worked out. So I'm very much happy that there we all know that there is more strength and more success when we go together. So you made it happen with your effective communication and transparency in business. Thank you. And lastly, you said that even till today and even till you are there in the business, the learning continues. Yes, this is one more thing what I personally appreciate about your this thing business. Uh, uh, thank you very much for coming to our talk show and giving your valuable experience and success. Yeah, sorry, your experience and your success stories. Thank you. Thank you.
So you're welcome. My pleasure. Completely.
Thank you, Sathvik sir. So it is also about getting out of your comfort zones, challenging yourselves. Look at the other side of the walls of your limitations. There is a new world altogether. Yes, these inspiring words are spoken by our founder, sir. He had a great vision long ago of bringing all of us together through BVI. I request Sri Narayanrao Tatuskar ji speak few words to inspire us. अनम्यूट झालाय सर अनम्यूट झालाय एक हेलो हेलो नारायण सर कैन यू प्लीज अनम्यूट म्यूट झालाय
Founder sir, please unmute. Founder sir, please unmute.
आता देखा
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yes. Dear Sri Naveen, on behalf of my BVI, express my thankfulness to you for accepting our incitement and taking out your treasurable time for our talk show, Glory of Success. Please accept our sincere appreciation for the outstanding presentation you made during your speech was fascinating. It was very interesting to hear about your success story. We believe that the knowledge you have shared will help immensely to the upcoming Bowser business community. Thank you for the most engaging talk. You have challenged each of us to help repair and reputation of business by developing a reputation for reliability and fairness. Your talk was the shot in the arm that we all needed. It was a thoroughly enlightening and informative for the listeners. Thank you so much for sharing your time and experience with us. I would like to share the golden rules for the aspiring Bowser entrepreneurs. Learn the skill every successful entrepreneur needs. Entrepreneurship is more than simply building a startup. So before striking out to on your own, make sure you are ready. Learn how to good leader, admit their mistakes and learn from it. Learn how to identify your strength and weaknesses while improving on them. Learn how you can start a successful venture no matter your age. Learn how to apply your ideas in a way that people will reward you for it and wealth will become inevitable for you. Learn how to sell, learn how to serve, build your knowledge, and do it with a smile on your face. Every problem is a gift. Without problem, we would not grow. If you don't learn business strategies, you will end up in a startup graveyard. Play by the rules, but be ferocious. With this, I want to rest my speech. Thank you, friends.
So thank you very much, sir. Coming from you, that's a big honor for me. Thank you.
That is a wonderful, sir. Thank you very much. I request Mr. Basant from Bangalore to give vote of thanks.
Hello all. I am Basant Rangdol, member of BVI Floating Club. First of all, I would like to thank our chairman and members for giving me the opportunity to thank all on behalf of our club. I would like to thank our guest for today, Sri Naveen Pishe, for spending time and sharing his valuable experience and achievements, which would be helpful for many of young entrepreneurs from our community. I express my gratitude for sharing the values and culture that he has nurtured and built upon. I'd like to thank our honorable founder, Sri Narayanrao Tatuskar, for all the guidance and support. And also, I would like to thank our BVI Foundation Chairman, K.V.Rao sir, in playing a vital role for today's talk show. I heartily thank our National President, Smt.Jayasree N Tatuskar, for all the guidance and role for today's talk show. I also thank our chairman, Dr. Sathvik for organizing today's talk show. Also, I would like to thank all those, Srimati Lakshmi Priya Bangale ma'am, Sri Manohar Bodke, Mr. Ratnakar, Sri Srinivas Devale, Sri Satish Jadhav, Sri Gajendranath Malode, Srimati Shashi Navale, Ms. Samiksha, who have contributed in organizing and making this talk show a successful one. Finally, I would like to thank all the national board members of BVI, all governors, presidents, and members of all the clubs who have attended today's talk show and have made this a successful event. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, Basant. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's talk show. I hope you have learned something. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. It was a wonderful being here. God bless you all and stay safe and stay home.
Thank you, sir. So it's open now.
Thank you, Manohar.
K.V.Rao sir, we will arrange one session. There are a lot of questions which needs answers. All right. Can we end the session now?
Yes, Manohar.
Thank you. Hope you all have a great day.
Thank you. Good night.
Congratulations, Sathvik and Manohar and all team members of Floating Club. Can I conclude this meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.